Hi, everybody. Have a wonderful morning to all. I'm happy to welcome you all in this third day of program. This is our third day. We are happy. The first 2 days went very good, well, and 2 days we are massive success. The first day was we had Father Binu Judge. Second day we had Tirumalai Rajan sir, and this third day we are going to meet. We are going to listen a very distinguished personality. At present, he is principal of International Rana School at Uttar Pradesh. Before that, he was working at various universities and institutions from Tamil Nadu to Uttar Pradesh. Actually, he had started his teaching career at Tamil Nadu and he shifted to Andhra Pradesh. Then he shifted to Karnataka and then shifted to Madhya Pradesh. Now he is at Uttar Pradesh. You just see that how he is traveling from one place to another place. This is a travel once who traveling a lot. He has much experience. He can speak more languages. Like today's our resource person is a polyglot. He can speak more than 5 languages with a right accent. He can speak Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Telugu, Hindi, and one more language, Sanskrit he can speak. You just think that how intelligent he is, how brilliant he is. And he was born and brought up in Kerala. Till his schooling, he was at Kerala. After that, he shifted to Uttar Pradesh. He graduated from Uttar Pradesh University and first post graduation from EFLU, English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, and his second MA degree from Uttar Pradesh and third MA degree from Andhra University. As I said earlier, he's a polyglot like that. He has many post-graduation degrees. I think he is doing at present, there is a MA degree, I think MSc degree, that is a forensic science. That is his seventh post-graduation degree, I think. And he is IELTS topper. He scored 8.2 in IELTS 4 or 5 years before. All these credits goes to Mr. Sadishan. He's very familiar with many of the participants. I want to tell you something about his personality. I had met him when he was doing an MPhil degree at Gandhigram University. That time I was doing my PhD degree. I say, while talking about him, his specialization, MPhil specialization in Indian literature, especially in Salma Rushdie, post modern studies. That time he was talking about one of his presentation of his MPhil presentation in research quality circle. He has presented very well. That time, that moment, people, I mean, his fellow students and faculty members had known that he has vast knowledge. He has. And while talking about him, how he could become a administrator. Before joining this international school, he was heading the department at Satyabai University, and he has more experience in the language training. He has trained more than 100 students. He has awarded a certificate course for that, especially for business communication and communication, English communication for a professional. He has awarded a certificate degree from British Council. I think hitherto he has more than a decade and a half years of experience. He's a very friendly teacher at all. As a very friendly man, like Father Benujas, I couldn't see his angry face till now. Whatever the problem comes, he's dealing with very silent, and he's sometimes he is smiling. And I want to tell you one thing. His topic is ELT, English Language Teaching for Undergraduate Students. Though he is, though he had MA degree, post graduation in ELT, English Language Teaching, this topic is very familiar for him. But I feel that he is not going to deal with how to teach English. As we teachers, we know that we are all teaching English language and literature for our students. That is not a much difficult topic for us. But here, he is going to introduce us a new program, a new computerized, a new technical program. How we people can teach you with that program. Mr. Sadesan, I am happy to welcome you. I have a privilege to welcome you in this session. You are the second person when I got permission from my principal to conduct this program. The first person I called Father Binujaj, Dr. Binujaj, and the second person is Sadesan. And immediately Sadesan accepted my invitation, and he was asking about what is the motto, objective of this program. I texted him 10 objectives. From that 10 objectives, he has selected the fourth one. And according to the need of this national faculty development program, he has made some changes based on that third objective. His framed title, his confirmed title is ELT for undergraduate students. We just think that English is a language for us. There's most probably a second language for us. Whatever we learn, even though we had more than two or three PhD in English language, we Indian people, we are called us, or else we identified as a second language. We could not say that English is our first language. But he is going to deal with how we can make our students to understand through technical programs. This language, our second language, could be fine. So, listen, I'm happy to welcome you. Now the forum is open for you. Please welcome.
Good morning, everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank to the organizers, the management of the Manonmanians International University, the Department of English, to as they have invited me for a talk um, for the faculty development program this year. um, I'm here for a talk. Before that, I'd like to introduce myself that I'm Satish S. As it was introduced about me, that I was carrying out some kinds of research activities and my studies in various institutions with a specific focus on English language teaching at my post-graduation level and consecutively some other courses related to language and linguistics um, throughout. Here I would like to go with a particular topic that was ELT for the undergraduate students, and its scope is to be discussed. The scope that the great venue that has been opened for the students so just coming out of this intermediate or the undergraduation, how the promising this career is when they have chosen this area. It's not alone for making a big career, but also for the enhancement of the subject knowledge enrichment. As today, the teaching alone does not work, but the great emphasis is given for its research and training. When the students of undergraduation pass out from their undergraduation and coming to the next, to their higher studies, it is a great question mark for them, before them, what they want to do. Either they must go for a conventional or a traditional kind of, style of teaching course, which could not be lucrative one, and which could not be very much um, useful. As I don't say that it's not very useful, each and everything is very useful, but the emerging trend is to be known, and that awareness is to be provided for the students who are just coming out of, passed out of this undergraduation. So the students must be given adequate knowledge about the uh, great plethora of research-oriented activities just after their undergraduation. So the faculty members of undergraduation can give a wide variety of courses and its implications. How they will become very much effective if they will go for a right course or the right program or the right topic when we are going to delve into a particular domain. Let me say that is whether it is language or literature, sometimes uh, combining both disciplines. In this regard, I would like to speak a few things about how this is very much useful for them. Undertaking research at the undergraduate level is considered beneficial. That is foremost the thing that every faculty member must address to the students of undergraduates. Students who undertake research during their undergraduate years not only learn how to carry out scientific research and so on, but also enjoy many benefits such as learning to think independently and greater learning compared to ordinary courses. These students tend to have stronger faculty relationships and greater motivation. And they gain experience that helps them clarify their future career plans and to prepare better for postgraduate studies. That especially this is what they really do for. They have to do after their undergraduation. It's been shown that engaging in research during the undergraduate years increases the likelihood of future. And let's say that is the future engagement in postgraduate study and research. And despite the abundance of studies are proving the positive effects of undergraduate research on student development, most of the studies are primarily focused on natural sciences. And we must remember about the Shiamas, that is in the research paper published in 2002. It is clearly stated that very little work has been done on how early engagement in undergraduate research affects social science and humanities students. And the few studies carried out in education departments have shown successful implementation of research at the undergraduate level and benefits at the personal, professional, and institutional levels. And the faculty members, let us remember this always when we are with the students. in the classroom when we're going to teach English language. The specific focus that each and every word or each and every thing, every point that we're going to explain to them, it must be understood properly that it is going to be useful for scientific research as it is the times demands. It is the need of the hour. Coming to the research component, which is given that most importance in faculties of education. Hemsley, Brown, and Sharp advise researchers to contribute to education by follow-up activities. That is, let's say that there are some educators should engage in research. When teachers, leaders, and schools become research engaged, the sense of research into practice, they generate and mobilize professional knowledge, value both academic and task knowledge, and empower the professionalism of teachers and leaders. Thus, let's see, the discipline service teachers need to be trained to understand research and its purpose better, not to be able to understand research and apply scientific findings into their, uh, what should we say, teaching and even participate in research themselves. Um, uh, on the other hand, now let's see that is undergraduate research opportunities are scarce in education faculties for various reasons. And that's what is the most of the faculty members find, that is once the students have uh, taken admission for for an integrated course like post graduation plus research. Um, just after completing the post graduation, the students would have a tendency to just take the exit option, because it's very difficult for them to choose an area or the career. Where the research scope is highly demanding. Those reasons, they just break it, they just split it, and just get the exit option, and they must leave the place. There is no such actively taken place. Therefore, let's say that is these teachers, we can say that the teachers or the faculty members advise that the students should be provided with a variety of opportunities to engage in research throughout the program to flexibly fit with their needs. As an instance, let's say that is the classroom observations and problem-solving tasks can be researched under the supervision of the faculty member and presented to peers during practicum work under the supervision of a faculty member. When the faculty members are really supporting the student, research scholar, this is really a fruit-bearing thing. That is, it is undeniable to say that it's really fruit-bearing. But it has been shown that it is earlier better to gain research experience in the undergraduate years. Therefore, even before practicum, which is placed late in the program, faculty members can propose a course-based undergraduate research experience. This is what most of the universities now try, not only the European universities, but also in India. University Grants Commission is also trying to put on, try to give a lot of emphasis on such courses, as recently became across some news that is spread spread in the newspapers and the social platforms, social media, saying that this undergraduate course should be what suggests it should be some 4 years duration, so that the students are going to get some kind of research experience and expertise in that field. The students will be exposed directly to the research areas. Let's say that yes, it should be research, scientific in approach, so that yes, this innovative era, this computer era can be very much useful for the students to teach if we're going to approach them. Our classroom teaching approach is blended with innovative and exploring style of teaching. using the scientific platforms, scientific concepts. Here is what I would like to give a lecture about what scientists undergraduate students mainly focused on and should be chosen as our what scientist target group who should be very much interested as they are given a wide variety of knowledge, concepts about this field as it is widely spread across spread among the students that English literature is the only one field where they can hold everything. Now we can see that this most of the universities conduct their courses after this post undergraduation. That is MA Functional English, MA English and Communicative, then what should I say, MA English Language Teaching, um, such as yeah, but then MA uh, comparative literature, English and comparative literature, etc. Let's say that is now I like to bring to you as an instance about Larson, who has published his paper in 2015. Integrating research in one of the courses in the programs is the most cost-effective and less risky option, provided that the outcomes are not predetermined scientific practices are used. Yeah, students learn through trial and error. Trial and error is as the students when um, they were doing some problems. Trying to solve some problems in mathematics. Also, everyone knows that this is a trial and error method is very much useful for them. First trial, next error. And now let's speak about this Larson's understanding and what he penned down about his plans and implementation, a course-based research convention within the English language teaching methodology as the second course, which is placed in the fifth semester of the eighth semester program in some other universities. And when we take about some studies and the reports of the students' perspectives on a course-based scientific research convention, the aim of organizing the convention was to provide undergraduate students with a platform to share their research with their peers. Enrollment in the course and participating in the research convention was compulsory. The students who participated in the convention had different future orientations and different levels of motivation about engaging in the research. So, however, let's say that yes, some kinds of issues will be there because each and every problem has its own pros and cons, and therefore we cannot simply assume that what's that yes, what we are proposing here would be having the highest impact. But when we are exposed to a particular field, we can make it very useful and productive. Therefore, let me say that yes, even though the issues such as how the participation in a research convention would be experienced from the perspective of other students remain unresearched. So there are some kinds of what such as questions should be presented, and those things I like to share with you as the other faculty members about. Who are dealing with English language, English literature, English language and literature in the undergraduate classes. Let's think about three things, 3 points I'm going to bring forward. One is the students perceive the course-based research convention in terms of its purpose. How did they do this? I repeat this. Students perceive the course-based research convention in terms of its purposes. How do they do this? Let's say that is the second one. How did the expectations of benefits and difficulties structure their experiences? Now let's proceed to the third one, and that's the last question I would like to ask you. I like to put it as a question so that yes, we're going to get possible methodology or method. What is to be done in order to get a in order to no, 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 um, uh, uh, establish in order to create, generate, in order to bring out a very good generation with a result, wins a result or research oriented concepts, students with research oriented concepts. So, first question I ask you, then I'm going to proceed here is how did the students perceive the course based research convention in terms of its purposes? Here, course based research convention as one thing, which is what is it is as purpose, and then what is that? What is its purpose? If the syllabus is designed according to course-based research convention, then its purpose. How did the students perceive this? Coming to the next level of question, what the expectations of benefits and difficulty structure, their experiences. And the last visited one, the question is that I have asked you about their experiences alter their future orientations. If so, let's get some kinds of methods for this. And uh, usually, what's it is the faculty member who's very much passionate and going through with such activities to go with the qualitative study was designed in a form of self-study, which is strongly associated with the teacher education. Self-study is characterized by a focus on the teacher educators' own practices using mainly qualitative methods carried out collaboratively with its validation based on trustworthiness. It's important to highlight here that the course-based research invention is not designed for research purposes. It is implemented as part of the teacher education program. Moreover, the results from this research were used to inform the future applications of the convention. So let's assume that with its qualitative design and focus on developing the discrete educational application, the study can be classified as a self-study. It's most important that the students of what so the age, what can any age, I mean students of any age, especially what's the is the students who just came out to the secondary, senior secondary, and then graduate, undergraduation. This is most essential for them to have their better, um, you know, way of learning because as house writers the students have to come out with a specific thing that is my learning experiences, my limits. Here is what I got very good support from our faculty members and also the infrastructure which is made available in the colleges or the universities or the schools as well, where words it is very much useful and conducive for my education and enhancing my knowledge on language. And now, as we are primarily focusing about the students of undergraduation, especially in terms of its course-based research convention as planned and organized by the ELT students enrolled in the ELT methodology to course during the academic year. Any academic year, we can say, isn't it? So here, let's once again say, at the beginning of the term, if the university is going to open this course, or the university is going to focus more on this level, at the beginning of the term, the students were assigned to come up with the question to research. The question had to be about education and being a teacher. By the fourth week, all the students had got their questions approved by the course instructor. Here is a well, no, a polar. I mean, we can see that there's a kind of uh, the student and the teacher. There is a relation or there's a transaction that's taking place in terms of academics and academics. Even what's we are going to extend up to the level of research. Then they begin to, I can see that they develop a research strategy to answer the question because they are forming their questionnaires that is very much essential, and also the core component, an essential component, which is very necessary for their, for the cohesive style of thinking. Otherwise, what's it, formulating certain things as what's that is very essential, that has not been brought before the public, or which is what is it is lurked still now. This is to be brought forward when they are making the questionnaires and thinking in hypothetical style. These all the things will be very much useful for them. So I can tell from my own experience, either based on literature or interviews and observations, what suggests they can answer their question. So there are various platforms, there are various avenues they can answer the questions. That's what I said. That they're either on literature, a lot of knowledge. Literature is vast. That's we know it. Literature is very vast. It's just like an ocean. And also, what suggests from the literature, they can get a lot of knowledge. As it is, what is the literature is a treasure in which what suggests everything is hidden or just occupied. That is to be brought out. And the students must have the capacity to bring it out and extract the essence which is hidden in that, the treasure hidden in that. So, on the literature, let's say that is through interviews. So, in this way, what say we have to elicit the participant or the person who is going to face your interviews, and also observations. The personal observation should be free from bias and prejudices. So observation should be scientific. I can say that it should be scientific. The observation should be scientific. As what's the need of this is we will get a judicious what's that is conclusion. A judicious. I mean, our observation should be judiciously practiced. That we can say. Sometimes once a year we can use the both interviews and observation in order to answer the question that you are prepared. Sometimes one is just based on literature and observation, and what's it sometimes vice versa, that is with the interview. Now we'll understand that they will allow time until the 8 week to carry out their research. And the students which research their answers, they submitted them in the form of an essay to committees selected from among the students by the instructor. So this is also very good. I can say I don't say that it's very good, but one of the possible ways. And now it is most essential to look at the participants, because what is it is without this, what is it is a staff, we cannot go forward with any kind of things. In terms of the ELT department, it's most important that is the participants and their participation is also to be recorded. They are aware of the part of typical research article and citation and referencing according to the style that is to be adopted, and not when what's it is a student of this English, if they are opting for the literature and some qualitative style, the students usually, the research scholars usually take the opinion from the research supervisor for an MLS style to be approached as an approach. Otherwise, what is it is, if it is experimental style or some kind of scientific style is to be used for language and linguistics or an ELT, that could be an APS style. And yes, and now let's see that is the students. About the students, sorry. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Please find it. Yeah. In this regard, please. There is a correction required in there. Now, sorry, let's come back to the topic. And here I would like to say that is the students, our expectation. The students were asked about the expected benefits and difficulties of the assignment in the pre-questionnaire, which is administered right after the assignment was announced, about the actual benefits and difficulties in the past questionnaire. By comparing and expected or gains, benefits, and difficulties answering the second research question, how the expectations structured their experiments, this became evident. Okay. Uh, so uh, now let's say that is what will be very much interesting. I mean, the findings that could be fetched out of the research when we compare the teams in pre and post questionnaire. Contrary to the expectations, the number of students who perceived the assignment benefits, the benefit as learning scientific research procedures did not increase in the post questionnaire. Before actually doing the assignment, the students were thinking that learning the research is something would be the major benefit of the assignment. This is the most frequently mentioned one. After participating in the course-based research convention, however, the number of students who've mentioned this benefit dropped to 15. A more dramatic drop can be observed in the third term in this category. The number of students who expected this assignment to be useful for their future teaching was, yeah, some number could be there, and that is also to be seen. And now, actually, what I found it very much difficult in these expectations that we made it during the course of their, term of their assignments during the research. Okay, so that's also is a kind of thing is to be explained. A kind of thing is to be seen. Okay. That is the study. I mean, what suggests when we are going to put a conclusion for this? I mean, their assignments, the term of assignments, and their research work is started. And actually, what suggests undergraduate students do not have any kinds of particular idea about this. And the faculty members who are going to their English classes, practical sessions, or their theory lessons or theory sessions. This is to be brought to the notice of the students. When the participating in the convention was reported to have a positive effect on the future orientations about engaging in research by most of the students. Now, let's see if the results of the self-study equal the results of previous research done in various research designs. These results encourage introducing constructivist hands-on research-based activities more often to English language teacher education curriculum. Actually, that's the thing. And I would like to go for the next part of the thing. Now, let's have a brief discussion about the perspectives on professional growth. And in this, I like to briefly talk about the study on the diaries of undergraduate ELT students, as this is also very much useful for the faculty members to understand what they must do based on the experience that we got from various sources. As the most published works and diary studies are on new teachers or graduate students. And let's say that is the benefits of the method and the scarcity of published work and perspective. And the pre-service teachers made it worthwhile to carry out a study with undergraduate ELT students as well. Therefore, that person implemented a diary study. I mean, the person who was undergoing, one who was delving into the subject, he implemented a diary study with fourth-year ELT students doing their practicum. One of his aims was to obtain feedback on the perspective ELT courses and the practicum by understanding the students' feelings and attitudes towards various aspects of teaching. This feedback could give him a chance to reconsider the undergraduate's needs and the content to be included in the courses. So this calls for an exigency to introduce ELT in undergraduates. And secondly, that he was saying that it was the aim to give students an opportunity for self-exploration and reflection on professional growth and its relationship with teamwork and the use of technology in teaching English. This is very important how he carried out the study on the diaries of undergraduate ELT students and the implication that he drew from it. In particular, he examined the student teachers' thoughts on professional growth and the possible changes that could be implemented in the practicum. And then what's the use using diary keeping as a component of the practicum? This is very important as everyone has to, um, focus much on this maintenance of the diary. Um, let's say that is when this master put all the students to write diary entries after each day of observation and teaching and to submit them to him twice during the term on a designated day. I mean, a prefixed date or a stipulated period of time is given for them to submit that in the middle of the semester and upon completion of their practice teaching. This allowed him to, this master to analyze the diaries in two stages. In the first stage, this master used to read them to see whether any common themes were emerging in the entries. During the first half of the student's apprenticeship, they were writing about the following concerns and ideas, which were quite similar to the results presented in previously published studies about diaries. And what he came across in this, work, initial stage finds in front of students. Comparisons of teaching methods and techniques and in their own, second language learning with that, with what they saw in their class observations. As we already discussed, this observation is one of the tools. Then analyzes the cooperating teachers, class management strategies, and her teaching techniques of carrying out various tasks and error correction. That is very good for us to understand about this matter. And while learning or having any kind of training or research, there must be a special focus in the mind or special kind of thing in our mind that is self-improvement and professional growth. While speaking about this, while reading the diary entries from the first weeks of the practice teaching periods, he found that almost all the student teachers mentioned their ambition to excel in teaching English. This is what we are expecting from the students who are just graduating from their university classes. Then let's proceed. Let me proceed with the future thing. Next things. During his readings of the diaries, trying to reach the student teachers' deeper feelings than this, he found numerous comments reflecting the need to be creative in class and recurrent criticisms of the all-knowing, then authoritative teacher figure whom they experienced in their own second language learning. Let's say, besides all these things, many student teachers speculated that they could be on the road to professional growth if they kept up with the recent trends in English as a foreign languages and worked collaboratively with other teachers. Such comments revealed to him the student teachers and with this self-improvement as starting with the rejection of those negative aspects of teaching from their own experiences. L2 learners, I say that is the second language learners, and trying out up-to-date, innovative methodologies. These themes are summarized in various charts. Now, why this? What is it? Yes, this is an emerging field as it is considered, and everyone knows that in the job market, as it is very much demanding for the candidates, even the companies or the institutions or various organizations, when they are providing a platform for them to come up with their own skills and go back with a better job, which is lucrative. Yes, this is the most important aspect that we need to focus on and we need to think on. And let's see that is an emerging need. Just considering the themes that emerged in the study, that this masters saw that the student teachers deserve a self-improvement, as it is discussed. Unless I can say that your self-improvement is not brought, uh, it's very difficult for them to adhere to the needs. Let's say that is for the improvement is closely related to their concern for the changing needs of younger generations, which involves the inclusion of technological devices to their knowledge base. Saying that these are inseparable made him aware of the particular topic missing from their curriculum: computer mediated language learning. Thus, what seriously learned from the study, the what undergraduate students should be sensitized. As a minimum to the ways computers can be used in EFL classes, as for instance, one can, I suggest what about the carriers, writings, especially the edition 1997. If you will go through, you'll understand better. Since we are running short of time, there's no time for us to explain. But a little, I mean, a crisp of that thing I would like to bring to notice about this. What does Carrier try to say about this thing? Considering the ideas in Carrier, especially what ideas this publication came out in 1997, now we are now planning to integrate using internet resources in the EFL classes. This idea is to include the topic internet activities in EFL classes the next time that he is going to reach one of the three methodologies. Three methodology courses offered by the department, English department. Thus, he could say that he would like to assign the topics to interested students, ask them to demonstrate their work to their peers, giving a chance for the whole class to have an understanding of what it means to use internet in the EFL classrooms. And further, it's not very much negligible or avoid. It could be evaded unless it is said. The concluding part of this, the study of diaries, about what is the diaries we are speaking about as a tool of learning. That he observed, that means he obtained the feedback that he was hoping to get from the students, even though he analyzed the diaries from the limited number of students. Then he became aware of their personal views on the topic of professional growth. He could predict here he is either what suggests it's myself or yourself, because you are the faculty, you are signing for the students as the didactic part of act that is to be delivered. You're going to teach, you're going to train them, you're going to support them, and you're going to guide them with better concepts for their research activities. As they are too young to delve into any topic in the field of English literature or any other fields. Let's say that yes, so that yes, we can predict that the majority of this group will be open to new methodologies in class and will become innovative ideas in professional development. So we can also imagine many of them volunteering for or perhaps initiating teamwork in their future workplace with the aim of learning from colleagues. These student teachers decide to identify the needs of the younger generation and their readiness to keep up with the changing needs suggest that they will pursue their ideal professional development. To turn out our teaching in the classroom to be a better one and very much successful one, the faculty members adopt their own policies. That is also very essential as they are dealing with human beings and not robots or any such machineries. Let's say that is a few words of research works of some words of research scholars or the professors or the learned men in the field. I came across few things, few articles, and based on the light of, based on that, based on my reading, what I understood that I'm going to discuss with you. In this regard, let me say, what's it is some kind of things about the several months discussing various aspects of maladjustments, problems, or delinquency problems and solutions. The students are ready for more difficult assignments. And so we want something which should not be open to an easy interpretation of right or wrong, guilty or innocent, because that we find the students lost interest in the subject as soon as they make a clear decision on the dilemma it posed. Also, because of the students had very little knowledge of how the United States judicial system functions. So let's hope to explore the hierarchy of the court system and explore some of the cultural reasons behind the system. Therefore, he decided to use the modern day sensationalized murder case, which still has not come to a firm conclusion. Therefore, he had chosen the case of Jeffrey McDonald, the US Army Green Beret surgeon found innocent and later guilty of the murder of his family. The lead up to his lesson had to be carefully considered for the article. And that article, I will suggest you that the devil and Jeffrey McDonald. And let's see that is the writer is Robert Samuelson. The book was published in 1998. And that is from Vanity Fair magazine. We could get it. Well, as going through, I encountered a few things about this. It's full of intricate details of the murders, many of which could offend young adult readers, that because the details and the fact that the case has not been finalized to many people's satisfaction. The article gives the students the opportunity to look for and draw their own conclusions about the case. So here is what suggests the student should be suggested. Otherwise, the student has to come forward with one kind of perspective. Let's say the full of intricate details, and The Devil and Jeffrey McDonald by Robert Samuelson. This has been, as I told you, that it was published in 1998. So that is the book could be, taken out for your purpose. And in this regard, here's what you all the readers must know. The here are readers. Let us take it as the students of undergraduate level should be the readers who are going to, take this book for their research activities, and they should find out the details about the fact that the case has not been finalized. But when they are going to, what's it is find out the very most important thing, which is hidden in the nucleus, when they will extract those things, yes, it is quite alarming. That would be the better part of the result that you're going to do. So this is as an instance that I have told you, and now coming to the next part. The article is quite idiomatically written, using very new expressions and colloquial, vocabulary. Here is also the students' a broad understanding. I can say that yes, they must have a better spectrum of understanding about the vocabulary which has been used in the text, as it is Jack Derrida's understanding about the reading, as it is, and then what is it is some other, reading is there as the philosophical approach of reading, then phenomenology. All these things, when they will come to know that is the hidden meaning. So that is, they will be easily understand. They will be able to easily understand what they're going to do. Here comes that is at the level. I mean, undergraduation may be the root level, the grassroots level for students, an individual, to become very much aware of, this thing, the research. So the rhetorical aspects is very much important for them to understand. The faculty, whoever is going to take the class for the undergraduates must address this in the class. So should, ought to address this matter, this point in the classroom for the students for better understanding about rhetorical knowledge, but rhetorical aspects of literature, language. So the rhetorical aspects of the article are deliberately contradictory. The author ambiguously persuades the reader to believe Jeffrey McDonald is guilty of the crime, and yet completely human and devoid of the ruthlessness which such a crime would seemingly require. Let's say that yes, so thus the students were focused both on understanding the language and the rhetorical devices used. This could be seen in some of the Indian writers and the scholars who were doing this research. And this article is about 12 pages long and includes many pictures of MacDonald in prison and of his family life prior to the murders. When we say about these pages and include many pictures, some of the students must be understood what ekphrasis is. Ekphrasis is also one of the what is this literary aspects about paintings, or what is the hidden meaning in one of the paintings. Yes, they could extract it, ekphrasis. Ekphrastic study is also to be involved in this case if the pictures have given very good understanding. Sometimes they could not be expressed in words. It could not be seen in words. It could not be seen in books. But it will be brought out. I mean, it will be produced before us by the hands of an artist through his artistic skills, through his drawing, his painting, etc. So expanding the problem-solving framework of Phyllis, that is in 1996, that he decided to spend 3 weeks on the article, which is home reading and in class discussion and group work. Therefore, he wanted to want the students to use the in-class time to go beyond comprehension and toward accepting the written words as an organic code, influencing and influenced by the reader, such things. The task culminated in the 4th week with a trial of Jeffrey McDonald. So, what I would like to say that yes, all these things are to be exposed. I mean, sorry, to be identified by the student. It should be finding out of the scholar as one who is going to be edged out from this session. And coming to this assignment part, the faculty member must usher them to a warm-up session. Warm-up session is most important as ELT suggests that, it implements that, it operates that, it functions that. So this warm-up session is needed, even if what suggests it's a part of an assignment the faculty member is going to give. Therefore, using the students' knowledge from their work earlier in the semester, we begin discussing causes or motivations for murder. Most of the students have similar opinions. Now, there are various kinds of perspectives also could be brought out by the students. As I can say that is poverty, drugs, revenge, greed, anger, and so many. We talked about the point of view that police might talk towards. Such words, vocabulary as we have discussed before that. The students must know that is what kind of compendium and vocabulary to be used. Here, let me say that the police came out with the possible findings that it is a homicide. Here's the word homicide that they have to take into account for their further research and their theoretical, aspects, their shades, to be understood. Then only they will be able to go forward at ease. And now the students discussed thoughts of anger, resignation, and even revenge. Okay, so then he introduced the idea of an innocent person being caught and incarcerated, and for a horrible murder. That's also true. Then, how would it feel to be an innocent person found guilty of murder? This could be a question, could be asked. The students could not have a clear-cut answer. But some of the students will come out with some kinds of responses. As the response is recorded, let's say that is, how do you know he is innocent? They should be curious. The curiosity should be, uh, no, created. And nobody would jail someone if he were innocent, because the innocent would not be getting a punishment. He will not be imprisoned. Still, what said the circumstantial evidences might want that yes, force him to be in jail. Those are also one of the reasons. But if it is a fallacy, the hypothesis may go wrong. So there are the hypothesis also they must know what is it. One is barren hypothesis, the other is sound hypothesis. And therefore, what suggests they believed from the beginning that once someone is found guilty, he is clearly guilty. This was a jumping of points for the devil and Jeffrey McDonald. As the article states, McDonald had a seemingly picture perfect life until, as he was testified, a group of drug addicted hippies came into his home, asked him, and butchered his pregnant wife and two young daughters because of stopping police work and the cultural milieu of the Fort Bragg, North Carolina in 1970. As that is what we got it. McDonald was acquitted as the murders of a military court. And it's not necessary for us to go forward with McDonald's case and the criminal proceedings and so on, because now let us proceed to some other task where it is very much essential and to know about the weaving the verb into English for academic purpose as reading program. Okay. So, with regard to computer facilities, we knew that we could not exchange all our classroom hours for language laboratory time. Language labs are also there in each and every institute. To begin with, we still planned to use traditional teaching and learning methods which would not require the lab. In addition, what suggests the language lab was simply not available for exclusive use. This is also there. Therefore, initial problems and solutions will be there. As part of that is we are going to speak about. We faced a number of important questions. First, how and to what extent could we integrate the material into our existing EFL Advanced Reading Comprehension program? Second, how could we best utilize the computer facilities available to our department? So faculty members must formulate their own ideas in this regard, so that yes, your department will be well furnished. Finally, what would be the reaction of the students for these establishments? Okay, and now some implications must be spoken about. Some kinds of things are to be also discussed about. And regarding that, yes, I like to speak about the pedagogical implications of where the teaching is integrated. Okay, as we gained experience with internet, so do our students. Our students also gained adequate experience with the computers and the functions. So their familiarity with the internet and interest in the topics allowed for words that is increased autonomy. in choosing the individual websites and reading passages as well as the type of activities to be completed. At the beginning of the semester, we directed the students to particular sites and guided them step by step to various links and activities. By the end of the semester, we designated a broad topic, suggested various sites and keywords for searches, and let them choose the material and tasks they would engage in. We are pleased and impressed with enthusiasm and seriousness with which our students manage their more independent academic assignments. We attribute their success to the purposeful and autonomous nature of the task. Most significant was the fact that our students enjoyed reading in English. This is most important, that is to be created. And as one student commented, as so this is also I would like to note, as that he was saying that yes, he was learning English and didn't even feel it. It's just going on, it's just pulling on. Our experience has shown is that the internet gives the students choices about what they read, provides access to topics which are relevant to them, and involves them in the purposeful activities. All of these elements create the motivation which is essential to foreign language learning. Anyway, this is what the whole thing I would like to say. Clearly, the internet and its important tool which can encourage language learning. As with all the innovative teaching tools, a sound theoretical base and careful planning, practicality, and flexibility, all these things are very much essential. If we expect to successfully incorporate these dynamic resources in our teaching repertoire, we must be, prepared to accept the ramifications of its ever-changing nature using material with which even which centers of the internet demands the flexibility and adaptability to change, which is probably unmistakable, unimaginable for 10 years ago. So that is what suggests welcome all these things in the future years also the universities should emerge with such highlighted things for the students to use and also faculty to use all these technological devices so as to come out with um, uh, you know uh, budding researchers. So I would like to wind up this session with this message that all the faculty members, let us all work together for the younger generation to come up or to emerge with fine research fellows and combined with the best teaching practices across the globe. And I would like to extend my thanks to all the organizers of the Manuel Sundar University, the principal, and everybody who cooperated with us. And once again, I would like to thank the participants who were patiently listening to me. You can drop in me a message or a mail that if any kind of queries that you have related to this discussion. Thank you and stay safe.
On behalf of Department of English, Mananmani Sundana University, I express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Sadison, who had made a wonderful presentation. It's something is new. We could not compare Sadison's presentation with any of our teachers and our own resource person. All our resource persons are unique in nature. Their knowledge is too vast. As I said earlier, he is a polyglot. He can speak more than 5 languages with right accent. You might have agree with my point now after seeing, after presenting, after listening his presentation. How good his presentation is. I feel that a word, thanks, cannot crown him because on behalf of English Department of Maranmani Sundana University, he presented well. The organizing committee has accepted the invitation of organizing committee. Really, it was a wonderful presentation and a nice, lucid, a thought-provoking for all the teachers. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear, my friend, very good, very lovable person. Thank you, Sadish, and thank you very much. And this is the right time to thank my dear participants. I've already scholars, our senior teachers, associate professors are here. I'm submitting my gratitude to you all. Without you participants, the program would not be succeeded. Thank you. Thank you very much. We can meet tomorrow. And signing off, Dr. Bharati Raj.